esteemed deans, directors, associate deans, heads of the departments and faculty members of OUAT. Today, we are, like earlier years, we are celebrating Agricultural Education Day, which has been the 3rd of December, which has been designated as National Agricultural Education Day by ICAR. Earlier, we used to celebrate it in a physical meeting in presence of school children and the students of +2 science from College of Basic Science. But this year the situation is different. Due to COVID pandemic, we are unable to organize such a physical meeting. That's why we have been joined together on this online platform to commemorate this year, this 3rd December 2020 as this Agricultural Education Day. Now, may I request Dean CAET and DSW to offer the welcome address. Sir, please.
Thank you, Nodal Officer ma'am. Honorable Vice Chancellor sir, esteemed deans and directors of the constituent colleges, registrar, comptroller, all the respected faculty members, dear students and the guests. So it's my honor to welcome all of you to this celebration of the Agricultural Education Day today, the 3rd of December for this year, 2020. So I am also grateful to the Honorable Vice Chancellor because within a very short notice, with his motivation, we have been arranging this meeting, that too on online mode because of this COVID pandemic. So as all of you know, this agricultural education till date has not been a priority option for the younger generation. Even when we were students also, so our first priority maybe was medicine, then engineering, and then agriculture. And till today also, agriculture has not been a priority profession for many of the students. But now we have realized that agriculture is a science which requires very much priority, because during this COVID pandemic and other the situations that we have seen earlier, so it also requires enough attention in education, research, technology development in all the years. And that is why to strengthen the agricultural education and research and to attract the students to this profession, so the Government of India has been pioneering many programs, and recently we have initiated many steps to attract the younger generation to this agricultural education. So keeping this one in view, the Indian Council of Agriculture Research, they have decided to celebrate the 3rd December every year as the Agricultural Education Day. And the 3rd December is the day which was the birthday of the first President of India, that is Dr. Rajendra Prasad, who is also Bharat Ratna, Dr. Rajendra Prasad. So this day is celebrated in the different ICAR institutes as well as in the state agriculture universities and along with the KVKs also, to celebrate this education day, to go to the different schools and colleges locally and to make the students aware about the different opportunities that is available in agriculture education these days. And to speak little bit about Dr. Rajendra Prasad, I may mention here that Dr. Rajendra Prasad, as you all know, he was the first President of India, but he was also a great contributor to agriculture. And if you know the Dr. Rajendra Prasad Central Agriculture University, which is located at Pusa these days, so that was the premier agricultural research institute established at Pusa during 1905. And the college was led by Lord Curzon that time. And Dr. Rajendra Prasad was a pioneer in establishing this one. And subsequently, you know all the developments. So this is how, even when he was the first agriculture minister of the country and also the president of Government of India, so a lot of contributions he has made for the development of agriculture, development of farmers and the farm education in the country. So we have been celebrating this day in our university also for the last few years. Last year also we conducted many events in different schools and colleges nearby by our constituent colleges, also some KVKs. And if you remember, last year also on 3rd December, we organized a university level function, which was a grand success. We invited many students from the different schools, their faculty members, their parents, and also we had prize distribution on that day. This year, because of this COVID pandemic, we could not be able to reach out to the schools as we did last year. But till then, we have conducted some essay competitions. And those were online essay competitions in the local schools, pioneered by the College of Agriculture, Bhubaneswar, College of Agriculture Engineering, College of Veterinary Sciences, and the College of Fishery Sciences located at Longelunda. We conducted competitions in DAV Public School Unit 8, Sri Araminda School of Integral Education, Bhubaneswar, and the Fishery College also conducted the event at KSC Public School, Barampur. The awardees have also been finalized, and we have got the approval from the Honorable Vice Chancellor there. In a subsequent meeting organized at the university level, the students will be invited and they will be distributed the prizes. We will be listening more about the importance of this day and about his vision about the development of agricultural education and research in the state of Odisha from our Honorable Vice Chancellor. So with a brief introduction about the celebration of this day, I again take this opportunity to welcome all of you to this August gathering, the innovative way of interacting with all of us. And thank you all for patient hearing to me. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, sir. Now may I request Dean College of Agriculture to deliver his address. Sir, please.
Very good morning. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So a very good morning to all. Honorable Vice Chancellor, then esteemed Deans and Directors, Nodal Officer, and all heads of the departments, and all others who are here in this virtual meeting. So I thank Dean CIT, who is the DSW and the Nodal Officer, for giving me this opportunity to speak few words on this great day, which is meant for commemorating the birthday of our first President, Dr. Rajendra Prasad of independent India, who is also the Bharat Ratna of India. So already Dean CIT has already spoken on the importance of this day and about the great man, Dr. Rajendra Prasad. So let me speak few things on the agriculture in our state and the very purpose of this particular day to motivate, to inspire the students, young students who will be joining in the agriculture profession. Okay. So the main objective is to motivate the students, but we have failed to motivate the students till now. So there is still a mindset among the parents that agriculture comes third or fourth after medical profession and engineering profession, although there is enormous scope of agriculture. Actually, if we'll see the scope of agriculture, it is even more than that of medical science and the engineering science. But there is a barrier, that mindset of the parents, and which has been transmitted to their children also. So now our main purpose is to break this barrier of a preconceived idea that agriculture comes later after engineering and medical science. So how to break it? That is the main purpose. If we can break, then definitely we'll be successful in attracting more of the students to this agriculture field. And this scope, actually, there is a lack of awareness about the scope of agriculture education. If we'll see, once the graduates pass from agriculture or agriculture engineering or veterinary science or allied sector, so either they will join in job or they may go for higher education. So if they join in job, there is a lot of scope. There is large departments, 3 large departments of agriculture, horticulture, soil conservation, where these students join. Earlier, they were joining in the lower cadre posts, but now they are joining in equal cadre posts. But uh, this information is also not transmitted to the parents. So they are equal at par with the engineers or government sector officers in the class 2 cadre. Okay, then second thing, uh, if they join, they can join in the finance sector. In finance sector, particularly in the banks, there is a reservation for agriculture graduates. That is also not known to many parents. So they can apply for both general sector and as well as the banking agriculture sector. And if they opt for higher study, they can go for master's degree in many universities, 75 plus universities of agriculture throughout India or abroad. And once they pass this master's degree, they can be observed in many research institutions of ICAR in very good posts. Actually, this information is also not known or not transmitted to the young students and their parents. And they can join also in the management degree. And management, there is also reservation for agriculture sector, agriculture students. And this is also not known to all the parents. So because of a lack of awareness, not only among the students, but their parents, now we are lagging behind and we have failed to attract good students to agriculture faculty. Now our government has transformed the agriculture education system. So one, either they will join the reserve or they will go for higher study, or they may opt for uh, entrepreneurship, or they can start their own business. So how to, there is enormous scope for entrepreneurship in agriculture as compared to other sectors. And this is also not known. We have to explore what is the scope, and we have to disseminate this missing knowledge among the parents and the society. So now ICAR has started the course curriculum, revamped the course curriculum, and there is orientation towards developing students to be good entrepreneurs. So now in the 4th year, final year, we have a Rawe program where there is village attachment program. The students get involved in the village activities, real situations. And also after that, there is the industry attachment program. And after that, there is experiential learning program. So this is very good. But now, till now, we have also failed to produce entrepreneurs in agriculture. We have seen non-agriculture students, now they are more in number than agriculture graduates in these enterprises. So now our main job to motivate the students to go for this farm sector, commercial farming and commercial enterprises. So government is trying and our ICAR is trying. So our university should be strengthened, and the linkage between universities and the industry sectors should be strengthened. So the government, industry and the university, they should work together, and universities should have some hubs where there will be very good model entrepreneurs, enterprises, so that all will be attracted by seeing these enterprise and how it is profitable, how it is working. So with these few words, I hope that definitely in future we'll move towards motivating the students and breaking the barrier of a preconceived idea of these parents, and will strengthen the university, industry and the government linkage, and whatever orientation the ICAR is given to each university will strive to achieve the goal of those curriculum objectives. With these few words, I conclude my brief speech, what I wanted to contribute. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Really, your words were concerning. In this context, I want to inform the House few good things. Sir, ICAR first round counseling has been over just 2-3 days ago. And just 1 hour ago, I got the information that 3 students from Kerala who have secured 100% marks in their +2, they have left all other career choices and they have come to ICAR and got admission in ICAR, sir. This is definitely encouraging word for us. And being nodal officer, sir, I frequently am receiving a number of calls from parents who are desperate to get their students admitted in OUAT. You will be happy to know, sir, you will be happy to know that yesterday a parent who is a bank officer, he called me and he desperately wants to get his daughter admitted in OUAT, though she is continuing second year in computer science in CET. So things are changing in our favor and definitely we'll march ahead. And now may I request Dean College of Veterinary Science and Animal Husbandry to please deliver, sir. Sir.
Honorable Vice Chancellor, respected Dr. Das, Dean Students Welfare and Dean CAT, Dean Madam Mahanti and my other colleagues from OUT. Now it is one of the very good steps by ICAR during last 3 to 4 years, that every year we are celebrating this one, particularly Agriculture Education Day. And why it is being celebrated, everybody has told, Dr. Das, Dr. Raut has also told. And it's because Dr. Rajendra Prasad, he was the first agriculture minister. So to encourage more and more students to agricultural education, to almost all faculties or almost all parts of agriculture, starting from agriculture, animal husbandry, veterinary science and animal husbandry, agriculture engineering, fishery, forestry and other sector, to encourage more and more students. This agriculture education day is being celebrated. I think it was started in 2017-18, I think, for the first time. And then every year we used to conduct some different types of competition, so that the students will know what is the importance of this agriculture, what contribution you have got, not only towards the human being, but also towards the society, towards the GDP of the country. And only one example of veterinary science and animal husbandry I can give, that everybody we are knowing that it is on 5.5 years course program. And when the milk production was only 17 million in 1952, due to this developmental strategy by government, by scientists, by agricultural officer, by different agricultural universities and other people, now the milk production has increased up to 187.75 million ton, and the per capita availability is 394 gram. When we are talking about that the requirement is 280 gram per head per day, now the country is very much well sufficient in milk production, but the per capita availability has been increased to 394 gram. Similarly, the egg production has also been increased to 103.32 billion, with per capita availability of 79 eggs per head per annum. But everybody, we used to say the ICMR guideline is we need half egg per day, which comes to 180 eggs per annum. So a lot of scope is there with respect to this poultry, and we can increase it. Still, we get the per capita availability becomes 180 per head per annum. So these are the different things actually, and the growth rate with respect to milk production is every year it is increasing by 6.5%. The egg production is 8.5% per annum. There is growth rate. So there is sufficient scope for the development of this animal husbandry sector, and this can be done through the wholehearted support of these, not only the scientists, but also students, those they will be joining this profession of the agriculture and allied subjects. So for that reason, yesterday also we conducted one essay competition in Saraswati Sishu Vidya Mandira Unit 8 Bhubaneswar, and we have already submitted the result, and by that I am expecting that through these different competitions we can give one message to the society, to the students, particularly those they are containing from 9th, 10th, 9th to 12th, I can say, that what importance this agriculture and allied sector has got, and how there is a scope for them if they will opt this profession as their profession without going for other sector or other profession thing without thinking anything. And still I can say that this is the only one sector which has got sufficient scope for the students, for the newcomers, for the people, so that if they will opt in future, they will be getting sufficient job opportunities, and that too government is also giving sufficient emphasis, and there is separate agricultural policy, education policy, other policies are coming out. The state government and central government also giving much more importance towards upliftment of this sector, particularly agriculture and allied sector. So thank you very much for inviting me or giving the chance to talk about this importance of Agriculture Education Day and what scope it has got towards animal husbandry and veterinary services. Thank you, madam. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. We all of us are eagerly waiting to hear our Honorable Vice Chancellor, sir. Sir, please.
Thank you very much. I congratulate all of you to organize this Agriculture Education Day, and with the background of talk by Dean CAT, Dean Agriculture, Dean Veterinary Science. I'll start from where you people have left. So my job is easy little bit now. As you are aware that this day we celebrate to invite young minds to agricultural education, and that we do in a very different way. We can conduct the essay, debate, interaction with the government official, interaction with parents, teachers, all the people. But before we motivate our students and the stakeholders, I feel that we all has to be very clear exactly what we have to talk to people. In other languages, this sentence may or may not be very good, I don't know. Unless we are convinced that what we are talking make a sense, that won't affect our stakeholders. It may be student or it may be parents. So let me start with that. First thing I will appreciate that when you talk agriculture, absolutely you should not talk agriculture per se. It is agricultural education, and when 100 years back, 80 years back, whatever, agriculture was used, it was used in totality. And today also agriculture education talk of totality. Out of that one basic agriculture, we say college agriculture maybe, veterinary science, agriculture engineering, all the disciplines who are related to agriculture are agricultural sciences. So unless we talk to our students the same language, and we are convinced, we may not be able to talk, and even if we talk, our language may not be accepted by our people. Because they will also know that people are talking from outside or people are talking being convinced. So that is one thing. And when we talk agriculture in totality or agricultural sciences as a whole, then we have to tell our student friends exactly what we, why we mean it is a very important and timely. Let us say 50 or 60 years back or 100 years back, when we are talking agriculture, normally we understand that somebody will go put a seed somewhere, automatically the plant will grow, we are harvesting, bring. Agriculture education or research or any science per se, if you go back around 200 years back, we brought a scientific way of doing things. And to start with, physics came, 19th century beginning, there are a lot of development in physics. Then second part of 19th century was a century of biologists. So that is why reading physics, chemistry, biology, that became a fundamental way. And our education system is a 19th century based education basically. Whatever way we are teaching today or learning today, all were knowledge or understanding of 19th century. That time, the fundamental basic subjects were understood and taught. Like we were taught physics, chemistry, botany, zoology. Then came amalgamation and application oriented teaching or professional, so-called, let us term it professional, or maybe interactive teaching was there. So now, coming from a model of 19th century, we have to come to a model of 21st century. So, last 200 years, lot of thinking and perspective have changed. For example, today's agriculture or agricultural sciences needs more knowledge, more skill, and is more science driven. So, by our mindset, we have to understand that we have to learn, teach, motivate in a 21st century model. Student has to be told that 21st century agricultural science is a different science than 19th century or 20th century agriculture science. And when you see all those things, some of the fundamental research in the last century or last 50 years developed. Let us go to last century. Second part of 1950 to 2000, let us say. You will see lot of research and lot of Nobel Prize went to biological sciences, biochemistry, physiology, like that. And those things were developed and medical sciences became very strong because of that only. That time probably this branch of science we could not present the way it could have been presented. Then knowledge of physics and other related subject, even instrumentation improved a lot of strength to medical sciences. Similarly, if you see last 20 years or so, in the science of computation, biotechnology, nanotechnology, space science, that got lot of developments. Now we have occasion to see the Earth from space at different distance. We can use a satellite to see. We can use a rotating satellite near the Earth orbit. We can use a drone of certain height, maybe 40 meters. We can have a camera nearby the surface. And the knowledge of physics can transform understanding a crop, whether it is a disease, whether it is soil condition or whatever. Similarly, knowledge of genomics and transgenics. 1980 onwards, for almost 20 years, you see, we had a lot of understanding related to how the transformation happens in plant, how the biology of plant helps for developing GM crop, all these things. And then a lot of development came in genome editing and these, that, or other things. So last 10 to 15 years, this branch of science is as important as any other branch. And if you compare different disciplines, agriculture sciences demands more about this upstream sciences than medical science or any other science. I'm giving one example. Suppose I go for stem cell therapy or I go for genome editing in a human being. I'm not allowed to beyond a limit. But in agricultural sciences, I can do genome editing, I can release a crop, I can develop a transgenic, I can develop a variety. I can have a fundamental research in plants or animals, anything. I can go for a stem cell therapy in animal very comfortably. In India and abroad, a lot of people are working on that. Sensor application, for example, what I was seeing, we can see from different distance to the earth or to the crop. We can see the soil also from a distance. So you are having a technology available or science available that non-destructive way, you can see what is nitrogen content in the soil, what is the moisture content in the soil, what is the NPK content, or what are the lot of other parameters you can see. In biological, suppose N or carbon, lot of work is going on. So what I'm telling, why I'm giving this example, to my student friends, I'm sure some student friends will be there, young people. So sky is the limit when it comes to the latest science, application of latest science is concerned, the agricultural subject. Whereas those science are limiting in other branches like medical science per se, or some engineering sciences like civil or electrical, maybe computer science may be very developed. So suppose you are working in agricultural sciences, you can use metallurgy for designing a machine. You can use the VR technology of agronomy and agriculture engineering together to make a sensor-based application of fertilizer, or you can use this GIS or automation, robotics. Robotics has become a very, very common application in agriculture today. Whole Western world in engineering, in automobile engineering, they go for a generation 1, generation 2, generation 3 of robotics for auto-driven cars and auto-driven things. But today, within agriculture field, a robotics-based or self-driven tractor is a very common. So, remaining agricultural sciences also, a student of agriculture engineering can do a marvelous job in robotics or mechanization of agriculture. Then what is counterpart can do, making a building. So, sky the limit as far your excellences in different discipline of agricultural sciences is concerned. Today, the way human being you see, whether some human being pregnancy can be tested with a sensor, there is a small stick. The same thing, similar things are being done in animal sciences. Rather, you have more scope because what you are doing has a lot of commercial value. There it is light matter, here light plus commerce, both are there. So you have a lot of potential when you come to agricultural sciences. Then a so-called traditional, a subject of engineering or a subject of medical science or any other subject. That never mean, I never mean to say some subject is bad or some subject is good. What I am to say to all the participants, particularly the young friends, that every subject, there is a lot of scope to go for mining better science for scientific satisfaction. When you read some subject, we have two purposes of reading or two driving forces. One driving force is we must challenge our mind to learn more, to learn something we have not learned, and we have to feel that our learning has made us richer. Second part of our learning today is we should have employment or earning avenues. So already Dr. Babu told, Dr. Raut told that there is a lot of avenue already. To support that sentence, I can give you one more information. 3 or 4 years back, I remember I listened in news that lovely university, a girl student from agriculture, she was given 1 crore package from Canada. So one MBA fellow also can get a 1 crore package, and one agriculture BSc agriculture fellow gets 1 crore package. One MBA fellow also gets 5,000 rupees if not capable, One MBA fellow can get 1 crore package if he is capable. So today's world is not the world of your degree only. Today's world is how good you are in your subject and how good you can prove that you are capable to be productive. Only subject, the days are gone. I'm giving one more example. Once I visited to IIT Chennai, IIT Madras, and they have a very big incubation center, and almost I devoted 3-4 hours in that building. I interacted with a lot of people, and I'll be happy to inform you that more than 50% of incubates were related to agriculture. Today, many of the IIT I have traveled, most of the IIT I have seen a sizable number of IITians who want to develop to be entrepreneur, or they are in incubation centers. A big number is related to agriculture. That means after doing a degree in graduation or post-graduation in IIT, they find agriculture sciences are more paying, more remunerative, more scope is there. And this is one area like medical science. Never ever there will be a paucity of scope, because till we take our food from plants or plant-based whole cycle or animal source or whatever, that means till we synthesize our food ourselves. Agricultural science will be the important science for everywhere in the world. The way we are human being and we need to be medical support. So absolutely there is no difference between any subject like engineering or agricultural sciences or medical sciences. It is up to your choice. A lot of students I have seen, they say, I don't have a neck to be a doctor, I want to be engineer. Or I want to be engineer, I don't want to be doctor. So also you can say, I'm having a neck for agricultural sciences, so I would like to be there. I will ask me to say that only agricultural science you should go for a career, no. But it should not be a second or third choice. It should be equal choice. If you are lacking for agricultural sciences, that should be your first choice. If you are lacking for medical sciences, you want to serve the humanity through medical services, that should be your first choice. You are good in a computing science and want to be a computer engineer, that should be your first choice. So today's science, today's entrepreneurship, today's avenues doesn't discriminate any subject, whether it is a engineering or agriculture engineering, whether medical science or veterinary science, agriculture per se or agricultural sciences per se. So I'll call upon the student friends, young friends, that if you're looking for a profession or earning, looking for a profession for science satisfaction, you're looking for a profession to learn more in different cutting edge science, or you're looking for contributing to the GDP or any other aspect. There is a lot of scope in every sciences, and agriculture sciences is as good as or better in many aspects. So it will be desirable always that agricultural related sciences, all these sciences, will be one of the key science where you can pursue. Here, I also like to impress on my teaching colleagues also. When I'm giving an example and I'll tell my point. When Chandrayaan was sent from India, somebody asked the chief of ISRO, that what you do for application to our lifestyle. Then he says one good sentence, everything need not have an immediate application. Some science can have a future application, but you have to challenge the young minds to the impossibilities to make it possible. And Chandrayaan program with 585 crores or so budget is worth to challenge my scientists if they can do a feat to send a spacecraft to the moon. Similarly, when you are teaching in our classes, you may be convinced that these are the 10 insect names they have to remember, and they should control the insects, or they should remember the pesticide. That is okay. That is final application. But every science, when you teach in the class, a enthusiasm for understanding science must be there. If you do not invigorate the mind of young people to learn science for what you are talking, you are depriving the young minds, and you are filling the information that may not be enough to attract somebody to sciences. So when you are going to a classroom and teaching that you apply this, you do this, the student has every right to know, or his mind has every right to know why I am doing this. That why component must be a part of curriculum, whether you are teaching or you are evaluating or you are motivating, whatever you do. The young minds cannot be satisfied with cramming something and writing something. If you are doing a young mind at their stage, you are underutilizing a vibrating brain. So young vibrating brain must be satisfied with lot of scientific question, lot of scientific logics, and lot of scientific answers. And for that, believe me, one is to read a lot to teach sometime. If you want to teach 1 hour, you have to read maybe 1 or 2 hours. That is why teaching load in a university is relatively less than a school or degree colleges. If we have habit of taking our class note and teaching and coming out, you are underutilizing yourself. That means you are not, if you don't challenge your mind, how you can challenge the mind of the young people? And unless you challenge the mind of the young people, believe me, young mind cannot be fully busy to learn science, apply science. And if you don't do that after the degree, after 2, 3, 4 years, information is forgotten enough. But logic of understanding is not forgotten. So that logic of understanding and the logic of sciences has to be there. Then, second part, our teaching, research, or all the activities should be future driven. Because we are doing for last 10, 15 years the same thing, we should continue doing that. That means we have killed ourselves and our kids will be killed further. So, always we must learn to what is new developments and what I have to learn. If you learn all things, you can teach. If I am not learning every day, what I am going to teach for the future? So, if I regularly read, I can know, okay, this has happened, this is going to happen, this can be future challenge, this may not happen, this may happen. That mindset has to be there. And believe me, you come to that mindset, from the present mindset, a huge thought process and environment will change. Third, which I have already touched, but I am repeating, that every young brain should be left to itself. How it want to bring to for future. We only be supportive. We should be groom. The word is very different. Grooming and teaching, grooming and just stealing and getting some marks or remembering some marks are different. So while you groom somebody, you allow the person to grow and you support it. And and when somebody is groomed, he must be given occasion that up to your choice, whether you are scientifically very good, you want to groom yourself to a researcher, you want to groom yourself to a teacher or an extension person or industrialist, entrepreneurship, whatever. You might have listened every meeting every talk, most of the talk I used to say, we are not going to decide what the student are going to do. We are here to support the student. And let the student decide what is good for his career or his satisfaction. Career also has a lot of dimensions. One of the dimensions of career is the area of choice. Suppose I don't enjoy a subject and I am forced to do because there is a job, I will be frustrated. While someone getting a job of a teacher, somebody might have told you will get a very good salary, so join as a teacher. Or you will get a good salary, so you'll be a researcher, scientist. After joining, suppose you don't enjoy, then you are frustrating yourself. And one of the parameters I'm telling you, you observe each other in the colleagues in the office. If somebody not enjoy coming to office in time, not devoting more time than the official time is required, there is an indication that you are not enjoying. If you office time रे घरे बसी परिबे market बुली परिबे anybody, you or anybody, that is an indication that you are not enjoying your profession. So if you are enjoying your profession, you must devote enough time and you must be emotionally attached to that. And believe me, if all the things we do as a teaching professional and when students are ready to come, that vibe moves. That means if we are internally motivated, we are really knowledgeous and we are supporting, student will be motivated automatically. If I talk sense to you, you will listen me. If I don't talk sense to you, you may listen in my presence, but you will forget after 1 hour or 2 hours after going. So that is true for everybody. Whether it is a classroom teaching or whether it is an interaction or seminars, whatever you do, my point is when we go anywhere within a formal classroom or informal classroom, our subject, students, fellow colleagues, they all observe us and they know. We should not pretend that we don't know. I am observed by you, you are observed by me, students observe you, you student observe, everybody observes each other. We should not pretend that we are not observed. Everybody observes each other. So, when I'm giving this example, when our student, one of the motivating point for us for this purpose today, Education Day, the students in our classroom are the biggest messenger for us to their younger people. Suppose first year BSc or second year BSc students are there. They will be asked by other people, how is your teaching? What is your scope? And they will tell their juniors, okay, we am satisfied. I did a good job by coming here. Had I gone to medical sciences, maybe I may not have done better than this. And that is the epicenter of the message among all of us. So one of the point of motivation, other than motivating the young mind like the school students, +2 students, also we should motivate our undergraduate students, even our postgraduate students. If they find a scope for their profession, even they find that their intellectual, their skill, their avenue, their employment, everything is taken care in academia like OUT, will be more listened by people. So I'll with this I end my presentation or my talk only with impressing that let all our activity motivate all the young minds, maybe school student, maybe +2 student, maybe our UG/PG students, and as a teacher ourselves, and all the stakeholders, maybe farming community, maybe policymaker, maybe an administrator. So we have to create an environment where everybody motivates each other. And I'm sure that motivational sphere will enlarge, radiates, and make an impact on the young minds to take the profession, contribute to the profession, and make their life with the profession in such a way they're very proud of. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Now, may I request Director PME to please offer the formal vote of thanks.
Thank you, Dr. Mahanti. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
So, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Dr. P.K. Agarwal, sir, Honorable Dean CAET and come DSW, Dr. S.K. Das, sir, respected Dr. K.K. Raut, Dean College of Agriculture, esteemed Dr. L.K. Babu, Dean College of Veterinary Science and Animal Husbandry, all other deans and directors, professor and head of departments of all constituent colleges under OUAT, and student friends and other staff of this university. I feel fortunate and happy to be a part of this celebration when our university is celebrating Agriculture Education Day on 3rd of December today. So at the outset, I would like to convey my sincere thanks on behalf of all of us, those who are in the e-dais as well as in the e-platform. So to our Honorable Vice Chancellor, I always speak, who always speaks from his heart only. He is a scientist of repute. He has exposure to different labs of world. He has been in ICAR. It is the declaration of ICAR for which we are celebrating today, Agriculture Education Day. So Honorable Vice Chancellor spoke the scope and improved opportunities that this agriculture science provides, and meeting the needs of few society as well as farming community. So, and he has already told the developments, the advancements that over the years the agriculture and allied sector has come into being. Now students are pursuing their agricultural education not by default but by choice. So it is you and me, as Sir has already spoken, this is a big challenge for all of us as a teacher, scientist, and extension educationist. So it is our duty, or any kind of stakeholder in any form, if we are there, this is a big challenge. It is our duty, our responsibility to how to make our science more recognized, more convincing to the parents, to the society, so that parents will start sending their children to pursue this beautiful, this significant and important agricultural education, to have a career in their life. So from the bottom of my heart, from on behalf of all of us, I express profuse thanks to our Honorable Vice Chancellor, who has been kind enough to be in this program as chairing the session. Sir, your good words, your inspiring words will help us to give a new direction, especially will help us identifying agriculture and other disciplines a choice subject by one and all in this society. Sir, I express my sincere thanks to you for giving us time and addressing to all of us, sir. Then I will extend my sincere thanks and express my sincere thanks to Dr. S.K. Das, who is Dean Agriculture Engineering and Technology, as well as he's also holding the post of Dean Students Welfare. So happens to be he's the key person actually. He's the key dean and key person who has made this program to this level. Though during the COVID-19 pandemic, as you are all experiencing, all are affecting, but still then an online or virtual mode, it has been possible only because of you, sir. And you also spoke, for your welcome address also, you spoke the importance of agricultural engineering subject and opportunities of engineering subjects to meeting the needs of society. Sir, so I express my sincere thanks to you for your nice words on this occasion and organizing this event on virtual mode, sir. Then I express my sincere thanks to Dr. K.K. Raut, sir, who is Dean College of Agriculture, who spoke very nicely that it is we have been failed to deliver so smoothly and so successfully, so that we have not been able to feel agriculture education being at par with medical and engineering education and other branches of science education also. So now people have started believing, now people have started having that level of conviction that this is the career that can help us. This is one of the best career that one student can pursue and anyone can pursue, So I express my sincere thanks to Dr. Raut sir for spending a few times with us and giving us few words on this occasion, and telling us the significance and importance of agricultural education on this very agricultural education day. I thank you, sir. Then I express my sincere thanks to Dr. L.K. Babu, who happens to be Dean College of Veterinary Science and Animal Husbandry. This is also an important education in agriculture, field of agriculture, who spoke very nicely about the different aspects of agriculture and animal husbandry, wherein meat production, milk production, how we are meeting the needs of society nowadays. And then he also spoke about the importance, significance, scope, and opportunity of veterinary education, especially animal husbandry education, to meet the needs of different society on this very auspicious day. I express my sincere thanks to Dr. Babu for finding your valuable time for us and addressing to us on this occasion, sir. So lastly but not the least, though Dr. Das is a key person, but I cannot forget to express my sincere thanks to Dr. Minakshi Manti, who is a scientist of Office of the DPME, presently holding as a position of Nodal Officer ICR. So it is a ICR, especially ICR declaration, we are observing this particular function. She has been coordinating the program since yesterday, and she is taking care of the developing the link and everything with the internet cell, my friends from internet cell, Mr. Ganesh and Mr. Sasank, those who have been, because of them only this has been become possible to hold this celebration on online or virtual mode. So I sincerely thank you, madam, for your valuable coordination and giving us time for this. And lastly but not the least, the participants over here, all head of the departments, my fellow colleagues, professors, associate professors, teachers, and whoever participating, and staff, maybe whoever participating in this program and watching this program, I sincerely express, so they find time to find out that this discussion will be, this program will be a successful one. Thank you, one and all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Now we can, sir, now the meeting is declared closed.
So thank you all so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.